What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Today is a two-video kind of day. Happy Monday again. I hope everybody had a great weekend, and I hope you enjoyed the previous video that I posted. I think it's a thorough interview about this object that came from Colombia, and I think you guys should check it out. We're going to follow up on more investigation into it, and the part 2 is coming out on Monday, so be ready for that. But today, there were two things that were kind of major taking place. The first one has to do with the program, the movie James Fox made that is currently now on multiple streaming services. I, that am in Mexico, could buy it on Amazon. So if you're in Mexico, you can get it on Amazon. It's $20 or 400 pesos right now. I do think that you should support this movie because not only is James Fox arguably the best documentarian about UFOs in the world, he's very thorough. He makes the highest level of editing that I've seen. Maybe Jesse Michaels is on a similar level.
The Air Force and other agencies, as well as governments around the world, have been documenting close encounters of the third kind. Reports of interactions with non-human intelligence since at least the 1940s.
I asked some of our scientists, what is the mathematical probability that there is life out there in the universe? At least 1 trillion.
There are 10,000 times more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on the surface of the Earth.
But more importantly, he's very deeply connected to a lot of the people in government that are trying to get this story out. I'm not going to give away spoilers of what happens. I know that there is one person who came out as a whistleblower, quote unquote. He came out as U.S. Navy X. And Mr. James Fox previewed that there was a statement coming out from this person right on the day of the release of the program. And it came out, but it came from Mr. Matthew Pines. Then hours later, Mr. James Fox said that he had no signal, so he had to get it out through someone else. And Mr. Matthew Pines was the one who got it out. I'm going to read it to you guys so you guys can see what this is about. December 16, 2024 for immediate release. Statement on the release of the program and the need for UAP and NHI transparency. Over the course of our normal human life, the possibility of simultaneously doing the right thing and advocating for transparency on the most monumental issue facing humanity is rare. Rarer still is the chance of doing so alongside someone who has made it his life's work to push for the truth via those intricately connected to that reality. It has been one of the greatest honors of my life to work with James Fox and appear in the program to help him accomplish his mission of letting people know that truth, that humanity is not alone. To that end, I am releasing this statement upon the release of the documentary to clarify important matters and call for UAP transparency from the United States government. All the points I make below are demonstrably true, and I have been in a position either to know or validate these facts, both in and out of uniform. Number 1, unidentified anomalous phenomena or UAP are real. While some may be prosaic in origin, the United States government also has proof of UAP that can only resolve in assessments to craft and devices of non-human intelligence origin. We do have the evidence, underscored, and contrary to some statements, it is verifiable. I would love to see that. The United States government, specifically the Department of Defense and the intelligence community, has high-definition footage, underscore again, of these NHI craft performing flight and transmedium operations that defied the normal physics associated with human-manufactured craft. I have seen such high-definition footage with my own eyes, so this is a first-hand witness, potentially, whistleblower. Numerous briefings, pictures, and videos remain classified, demonstrating those UAP of non-human origin and are subsequently kept from the public and from science. That is both abhorrent and immoral. Such footage includes examples of NHI craft as well as transmedium orbs, some of which have been filmed not only in HD, but in full color and broad daylight, underscore. One such video, including those parameters, features an orb coming out of the water in the northern Persian Gulf and flying anti-gravitically before being joined by another such orb coming out of nowhere and then flying off while the first orb continued to be tracked. Both orbs had a white, shimmering plasma-like appearance with no sound, wings, rotors, or any other such features human-made propulsion. Other footage features remarkably close and erratic movements alongside our national assets. In one such instance, relayed to me by a reputable, highly cleared member of the IC, an aggressive orb forced a drone operator to take evasive action and matched its descent and speed every step of the way on the drone's right wing before eventually zipping off. This was recorded in 4K resolution or better. Congress should demand that such footage be shown to them in hearings as well as released to the public record. Close approaches of Russian and Chinese aircraft to U.S. aircraft are often released the next day, but these very revealing video files continue to be suppressed. Number 3, members of Congress and some presidents have been lied to about these evidentiary materials and the very nature of our place in the universe for decades. They have been treated as temporary employees, quote unquote, without a need to know when, in fact, they are elected officials responsible for the oversight and leadership of the United States. Additionally, whistleblowers have been threatened, some with threats of arrest or harm to themselves or family members. Many want to come forward, and some have, while others remain afraid for themselves and those close to them. This must be rectified by Congress and a more transparent and supportive executive branch, underscore. Number 4, Congress must now do its part and hold substantive hearings with those involved in the DoD, the IC, executive branch, and aerospace companies, underscore, to hold those responsible for this concealment effort to account. While the aims of the greatest generation may have been done in earnest many decades ago, the time has come for our elected leaders and the public to know the truth about NHI, their activities on this planet, and any other related matter that can be revealed. Doing so will not harm national security. On the contrary, it will strengthen it. Not doing so will only increase the chances of strategic surprise from nation-state adversaries or the NHI themselves, and will harm vital U.S. interests as a result. The United States must lead the way. Number 5, leadership in Congress should support the creation of a select committee on UAP NHI disclosure with subpoena powers in tandem with serious declassification efforts from the executive branch. It is time. This will be my only statement, and I will not appear in interviews or podcasts overall. Disclosure is more important, but I want people to know that I remain steadfast in my support for NHI disclosure behind the scenes. It has truly been an honor and a privilege to network and speak with disclosure proponents, witnesses, congressional staffers, and others dedicated to revealing the greatest development in human history. We are not alone in the cosmos, nor are we alone in this planet. The process of making this truth available to the public continues. U.S. Navy X, original document. So this was pretty interesting. He goes out swinging. I know that People who are skeptical about all of this are already trying to either spin or refute whatever claims are made in the program and by this guy. Some people are already trying to dox him, which I don't think it's cool. But I think that for me, one of the most interesting parts of the program was Jason Sands.
U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant Jason Sands was stationed at the nearby Nellis Air Base with the 67th Intelligence Group at the time.
This previous week, the UFO came on the range, flew right by what we called the schoolhouse, because that's where we did the training, and it went down into the valley and continued on. So they have actual video of it, and that's what you see out there in the public, this Nellis Range UFO.
P1 control doesn't know what type of aircraft it is either.
I do feel a certain level of regret, and I'm sure he does too, that he came out on Twitter Spaces. I know that he did it for a reason. I know that he probably felt like he was being ignored, and that's why he decided to do it. But I think that the impact of his testimony, which is pretty mind-blowing, would have been taken very differently had he not came out on Twitter. The account of his encounter, you can find it on Twitter Spaces. I know that a UFO Twitter member, UFO Intros, he was the one who hosted that space, which right now I think it could be considered a historic space on UFO Twitter, because it did come out with Jason Sands, and Sands is exactly who he says he is. He has been vetted by people within the government, and he revealed all the names of the programs and everything. And he told his story about this encounter with a blue-skinned, no ears being with a uniform. In the program, they show a drawing of this being. So I would recommend you guys check it out and see the whole account from Sands. I do think that the impact is different, but I still think that there will be an impact amongst people who were not aware of him before, because it is a pretty wild claim and pretty wild story. I have heard similar stories before. I can think of Phil Schneider, for example, who was actually injured allegedly by one of these beings. I can think of John Burroughs' story, who has in his possession a document that confirms he was injured by a UAP, and he has benefits from the government for that. That is real. I think Sands' story ranks amongst those and others, and I think it should be taken under consideration, regardless of how he came out. And the last thing I'm going to say about this film that I urge you to see, I'm going to leave links in the description, is I believe Mr. Gary McKinnon doesn't only deserve a pardon, he deserves public apology from the United States government for treating him in the way he was treated. Especially, he makes a startling revelation of how depressed and how pressured he felt at a certain moment when everything was going down. He spent a decade fighting for his freedom. And I do think that he didn't deserve to be treated that way. So I hope that he gets pardoned, especially if disclosure comes. He should be one of the people that get some kind of public apology and remuneration or whatever, you know. But what he did was, I think over time, we will know and realize how important his actions were to support transparency of NHI and disclosure and all that. Thank you, Mr. Fox, for a great documentary. I know that people within the UFO community who were expecting something new will complain. There will always be people who complain. There will always be people who try to refute whatever claims are made here. There were many more different stories that he encompassed here. He did put a lot of attention on the congressional hearings from last year, and he does name a bunch of hostile potential witnesses. So go watch it, please. Another story today that I think you guys should check out is a Donald Trump statement where he talks about the drones. And I think you guys should see this because I want you to help me read his body language and whatever you think he means by this.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big distance.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth.
Okay. So what do you think about that? I think it was interesting. I know that a lot of people don't like President-elect Trump, and I try to stay away from this partisan politics that America has. A lot of people will allude to him being a pathological liar or a criminal, convicted felon, all of that stuff in order to attack him. But you got to remember, he's your next president. I know you can obviously criticize him, is within your right to do so. But if you really want for disclosure to happen, those who are advocating for it, and you keep attacking the one person who could give you disclosure, despite what he's done, despite his past and everything, I don't think if attacking him would be such a good idea. And that's just my opinion, regardless of what you think about him. I don't know if this means that he was alluding to potentially revealing NHI, whatever. I have no idea. But I think it's interesting that he was already talking about this with the press, this drone issue. His cabinet is still looking good in terms of disclosure-friendly people, but I don't know what will happen. I don't know between now and the day of the inauguration. I don't know what will happen. Anything can happen, really. But he clearly knows that the current government is hiding stuff in regards to these drones. And he is asking for transparency, as the rest of us are. And I support that. It doesn't matter how I feel about him. What matters is this right now. And just keep one more thing in mind. It's really funny to me that people call others pathological liars and call people out for withholding the truth. But just remember, guys, we're all human. We have all lied at one point or another in our lives. Granted, some of those lies are way more serious than others, but we're all liars. We all have lied. And I know that this is one of the defects that humanity has that has to overcome in order to reach a new level of consciousness. But I think it's rich that people criticize someone for lying when we're all liars. We all do it. I know that there are people who try to not do it and try to lead an honorable life. We should all strive for that, always. But I don't know, pointing the finger like that when everybody has made mistakes in their lives. Granted, I'm telling you, there are levels to mistakes. Yeah. Mr. Trump has done some horrible stuff in his life. Yep, that's true. But pointing fingers like that when you guys are, or all of us are also guilty of lying specifically, I don't think that's the best way to go about it, but what do I know? So let me know what you think in the comments about the program, about what I talked to you about, this Navy X and his statement, Gary McKinnon, Jason Sands' story. Do you agree that it would have been a different type of impact had he come out just now? I believe it would have. The UFO community especially would be like having a field day right now. and he would be considered the new whistleblower, and his story would be shocking everybody within the UFO community, but we already knew it. So this is going to only impact people who didn't know his story, which is not bad. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon. If you want to support the channel in any other way, I'm going to leave a few links in the description. Take your pick. Thank you for the support, as always. And without further ado, I'll see you guys until tomorrow's video. Bye.